Cheers!
Welcome to MovieBitches.
I don't know. I think this is just your uniform now. This is the look.
This is just what I wear every episode?
Somehow I don't think we'll get too many complaints.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, retro review episode 50.
50!
Oh my god.
50 years old. Speaking of 50, we just hit 50,000!
We hit 50,000! Yes, look at this synergy.
You know, it's all planned ahead. We're not flying by the seat of our pants.
So, of course, we couldn't finish summer camp without talking about the campiest movie of all time.
Well, I mean, it's the perfect conclusion to summer camp.
Yes.
The climax. It is the apex of, right? It's all of it.
Exactly.
It's the themes. All of the motifs. All of it comes together in one synergistic. Showgirls.
I mean.
Showgirls.
First things first, shout out to our wine sponsor, Wink. Go to trywink.com/moviebitches. You get $22 off your first month of wine! Different places!
Different places.
The wine comes from all different regions.
So, also, I should say thank you to Brian for lending me his Noe Malone costume. I will say, he wore it better. We'll put up a picture from when we went to go see it together at Cinespia.
I don't know. You're really pulling off this wig, Andrew.
Yeah?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah? I feel like I could use James Mansfield to really fix it, but, you know.
Just send it to her in an unmarked box.
Just like a fucking padded envelope and be like, ooh.
The return address is just an emoji.
Oh. Second thing second, make sure to click subscribe, click the thumbs up, share. Oh my god, I have hair, I can do it.
Oh.
Wait. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all of that. Third things third, thank you to our Patreon supporters. $5 a month or more gets you early access. $10 a month or more gets you access to our viewing parties. Speaking of viewing parties, we didn't want to do Showgirls for a very long time because everything that we feel like we could probably say about Showgirls has been said perfectly by the commentary track of David Schamder, as we quote it literally all the time. So, we've talked about it before. You know, there's a DVD commentary track. MGM reached out to him. He thought he was going to get a cease and desist, and instead they were like, hey, will you do the official commentary on the re-release of the DVD because you get it, and we're trying to embrace it. So we didn't want to do a review of Showgirls because they were like, well, what do we say? But we have a very special guest. David Schamder agreed to join us.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I mean, it's really just a companion piece at this point, so.
Right? So without further ado, first, thank you so much for joining us. We are very, very excited about this.
Thanks for having me.
Truly surreal.
I'm so glad the kids know what Showgirls is.
We're evangelizing your commentary to everybody.
Yes, it's funny. I was watching it again last night, and I realized how many random weird little things I quote from it. So thank you for that.
I kind of want to ask you about them because I've never listened to that. It's a one-of-a-kind...
Really?
Oh, I'd rather die. Who wants to do that?
Sure, of course.
And it was a different situation because the live show is built for people who've never seen it, so I can stop and start. But the commentaries are for people who have soaked in the movie, and you're just going to hear somebody talk over the whole thing. I was very high in Bad Animal Studios, which is in Seattle, and it was me and one audio guy, and he was just like cracking up and so okay. And when people have me host stuff, I'm like, okay, are there any treasured jokes from the commentary that you will die if I do not say because I will not remember them maybe. So tell me your like G-spot ones so I don't miss them.
Well, oh my God, he's Nostradamus. We literally
we use that all the time.
Sooner or later, you're going to have to sell it.
Oh my God, he's like Nostradamus.
Just all the time.
And see, I don't even know what you're talking about.
In the casino, I love it. In the casino,
you're gonna
she
have to
loses
sell it eventually, you know.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh my God,
He
he's
is
like
right.
Thomas. The other one we always say is after she's leaving James's house in a huff after he's checked for her period. Oh my God, how's she gonna get home? Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
How's she gonna get home? Oh, thank God.
Yeah, that was good. She's a lucky lady.
When she's littering, what an asshole. You know, just like stuff like that.
She litters. What an asshole.
What was it? Oh, Nomi is like a sphinx. I love that one.
Yes, that's a great one. That one all the time.
Because she's sitting there reminding
It's all
us.
very, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, she's such a mystery, that woman.
Yes.
So I'm sure they'll come up naturally, but those are the ones that came to mind off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great.
And of course, I don't know if you noticed my shirt. They're toasting with their chips.
That's amazing. We'll talk about that scene.
Oh, we have to.
We could just talk about that, honestly.
Honestly. So, yeah, oh gosh, where do we begin? I don't know.
Well, here's the headline, the surprise. I had never seen Showgirls without your commentary until last night.
Whoa.
I know, isn't that
How
weird?
weird. You should have had at least one in your gullet before you started.
I got introduced to it, and then it was just like, why not? This is just a companion piece. Why would you ever watch it without? So that was, and so there was one really weird thing where I thought, the whole time I thought it had been you saying this, but it was just really bad ADR. So it's after the cat fight, you fuck the meter reader, that whole thing. And there's like a very weird, "Meow."
Stop it! Stop it! Settle down! It's done!
And I always thought it was you because it's so weird and ADR'd. And I thought, oh, that's fine. It really blew my mind.
Nope, that's another gay.
Oh, well, I guess we should explain a little bit. We've been doing a series this summer that we've been calling Summer Camp. And it's like our favorite campiest movies. And obviously, Showgirls had to be on the list. And we'd been putting off reviewing Showgirls for a very long time, in large part just because all we ever do is quote your commentary. So when you agreed to come on, we were like, okay, well, now we can actually do it.
Yes.
So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
There's been so many thought pieces and so much stuff written and talked about and documentaries created. We just watched You Don't Know Me in preparation, I guess, which really put an interesting and different spin on it than I have ever looked at this film from. I think I was introduced to it in some ways as like really appreciating the camp from your lens. Not that they're different, but like the documentary really took it a little bit more seriously than I think I ever did.
They really were. We have to get into it. And I
oh, yeah, okay. But I think, again, like the fact that you can do that is an interesting testament to the power of the film. Like, it's not just going to disappear, and it didn't.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, till the end of time. There is no answer.
It's shocking to me. I had every single component of the Showgirls story, longevity, has been surprising. But except once it's done, it's like, of course Showgirls is eternal. Of course. Now that it's happened. But I didn't know at the time. And even that it can hold I remember when there was this first wave of, shut up, you people who think it's just a hilarious thing to point and laugh at. It's a serious movie in the canon of Verhoeven. And I loved that, but it also just, the more intelligent effort goes into it, the greater the tragedy. Like, you still only have one result. Like, you can tell me the recipe is different, but I have seen the result. And so it's only just going to make it more richer and more delicious. But you're not going to change my mind to be like, you're right. The mirror, and also like, people get very into the mirrors.
Ooh, the mirrors.
That is what 3-year-olds do for symbolism. Like, because that's you. Oh my God, it's me, but it's not me. It's just like, it's barely symbolism.
Right.
Like,
I think you say it really well. You're like, oh, there's so much subtext until you realize there is no subtext.
None.
It seems to have been written by a brain-dead Harold Pinter, because the subtext is totally staggering until you realize that there is no subtext.
okay, so that's the doggy chow scene, your chip shirt. And in one of the reviews, this is Owen Gleiberman, kind of wrote really thoughtfully about that doggy chow scene in a way that kind of moved me. And it brought up that if they had had better actors, that was a scene about class. That was about two women who are like, I've eaten doggy chow too. And it's like, I did this idea, like, I didn't suck that dick, but I ate that doggy chow because I will eat doggy chow. But because they're so clownish and we've been on this fun ride for so long, you're like, my heart was not even open for that level of like, they're communicating so intimately in this kind of coded language. It's like, I can make my brain go there, but it doesn't just do it by looking at the movie.
I used to love doggy chow too.
And they toast with their chips.
Yeah, the movie definitely doesn't bring you there. And I think that's in some ways the writing and the directing and the performances. It's that comedy, it's the density of failure.
The
that,
density.
Like, no one can actually get you there. And so then it just becomes absurd.
The writing is truly, I think, maybe the crown jewel of atrocities. I mean, just some of the lines. What is it? 4 more classes and they're going to have to give me that degree. That's how graduating works. What are we talking about?
You showed them, lady.
Mwah! 4 more classes and they're gonna have to give me that degree. Great.
Yeah. What's happening? Like, you just follow the thread and go, that doesn't make any sense, actually. That's utter nonsense. What is it? I'll get you a burrito. Even fajitas. Those are different things.
Now that's
different things.
That's
we
another
say
one
even
that we
fajitas
quote
all the time. Even fajitas?
I'll buy you a burrito. I'll even buy you some fajitas.
Even fajitas?
Even fajitas?
Yes, I didn't know there was a hierarchy of Mexican food.
Is that more expensive, maybe? Is that what it is?
And the bail ring pop.
Oh.
Okay, God. Everyone loves her. Can't wait to bail her out of jail. 7 people show up to bail her out of jail because she's so lovable.
Oh my God. It really is. This time watching, because the score is for a cartoon.
Oh my God.
It's just, and here's the love theme and here's this, and it's very obvious. But it is true. They really are drawn to her like a moth to a flame. It's nuts that they just thought, this'll work.
The director was in love with her. He and Elizabeth Berkley were romantically involved during the making of the movie, which is a big deal because, like, she was Elizabeth Berkley from TV and looking in the camera and laugh track, and he was an auteur. And I think she was talked into probably some terrible things in the name of art and love. The crew was like very aware of their love, and that was kind of fueling it. This whole passion. I think he thought the whole world would see her like he was seeing her in that very intense moment.
That makes a lot of sense now, actually.
Yes.
That kind of brings another layer I didn't realize.
Yeah, that really does. I also think that he has perhaps a different idea of what's sexy than certainly I do, but maybe than everyone else in the world. Like, it was like...
very specific to him. Like you've said, I've never met anyone that found it erotic in any way.
Yeah,
so
no.
I don't know if, maybe that person exists and that's good for them. This movie's for them for that reason. I haven't met them. Maybe it's just Paul Verhoeven and Joe Esterhaus.
I think it would have to also be an entire generation of straight Saved by the Bell fans who are like, oh my God, you get to see fucking Jessie doing it.
Yeah. Crashing in a pool. Like, she's having an epileptic seizure. Like,
get her some insulin. We say that all the time too.
Yeah.
And sexy monster.
Sexy monster.
Ooh, sexy monster.
That's a classic.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Because ladies love that.
Yeah, ladies love that.
I know Kyle MacLachlan, his hair, his chin, everything's so shiny. I did realize this time watching it, I was focused on the men. They all have so much gloss on as well. The guy that picks her up at the beginning, so much lip gloss on. Just hadn't noticed that one before.
No, that's where it's kind of like it's kind of like a musical without music, although it does have music. And he definitely, in that coffee table book, he says, this is an MGM musical for a new age. And but just that cartoonish thing of like, oh yeah, the truck driver has glossy lips. Okay, great.
The idea to me that this movie is a musical was always just, I mean, sure, there are, like, I guess musical stage elements, but like, And I see, I see all of the references and the Busby Berkeleyisms or all of these different staged musical numbers. Sure, you can see a lot of thought went into it, but for what point?
Well, that when you take it a step back and just say, who's attending this show? That's when it all falls apart.
Who's running these photos? That's another one that we use a lot.
Can we have one of you handing Crystal the flowers?
And it's international press. Did you hear that woman's accent?
Oh, and the international press.
Nomi goes to a press conference naked at the end.
Just right out.
Who do you think Crystal Connors was supposed to be?
You mean
what level of star? They name check Mariah and Janet, which seems like he's trying to go a few steps up. So
and we literally can't say Paula Abdul any other way.
Paula Abdul in my show. We're not going to pay those kind of salaries.
Yes, it's strictly a matter of salary to get Paula Abdul in your topless Vegas production.
We could have had Paula Abdul.
I know.
It really gets me. Yeah, I don't know who would do a topless show. I mean, Dita Von Teese.
Right. Okay. So So it's a counterculture kind of person, not someone who's like, the media's here.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess, and it's interesting though too, at least for me, I've never known that Vegas. And I don't think that Vegas really quite exists, obviously, but Vegas now is so far different where it's just maybe the closest thing you could say is one of the adult Cirque du Soleil shows is Goddess, perhaps. That's the closest we could get.
Right.
But did this ever kind of thing exist in Vegas? Not to my mind.
Yeah, it used to be a whole lot more kind of titty shows. Family,
I guess that's...
a titty show that won't offend your wife was basically what they wanted.
Right.
And so it had to have some beauty and glitz. I don't know why.
High class.
How could you afford the insurance for a motorcycle strip show?
Oh, and the wire work when she's ascending as the bride of Jesus, the naked bride of Jesus. That wire work was pretty good. I couldn't see it. The harness, she's basically naked. I was impressed.
As the naked bride of Jesus, Crystal Connors performing in a jukebox.
You'll be happy to know that Cheetah is real and is still in Vegas. So you can go to that side of Showgirls. It's still there and they get lots of visitors. Oh my God, I went to Spago 2 years ago and I was looking around and it's a schmancy enough restaurant that a maitre d' came up and was attending to me. I noticed you looking around and I was like, I'm a tremendous fan of the film Showgirls and I would like to know where they ate those chips. And he went, right over here, sir. I had basically asked him where's that ditch where the hooker was killed? And he's like, right here. It was so beautiful.
Did you order chips and Crystal? And Crystal.
They do not have chips. That is some bullshit. That's how we know Showgirls is not a documentary.
I do love that Nomi is I don't know what any of the things on this menu are. I'll order for you chips.
Right. And champagne.
And Crystal. And Crystal
Chips
champagne.
Now let's dance.
Oh, the gong when she tears her top off. The gong gets me every time.
I don't think I said this at the time. It came through the great vast exposure I've had, but just how dare they try to play a great reveal with her boobs at that stage of the game? They're those are our old friends by now. Don't be oh, she's topless.
I don't know why this has not been brought up, but Nomi seems to not know how to drink champagne, and she is constantly just dipping her fingers and then licking it from. It's the weirdest thing.
I always get distracted by the continuity of their lipstick on the glasses, and it just really.
Oh my God.
I break down. But yes, continue with the dipping. I don't know what that is.
The closest I can think is it's her kind of dabbling with, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do drugs, but later she uses that same nail to scoop up some coke when she's getting sucked into it. So it's her way to okay, I'll enjoy this expensive drink you bought me by dipping my expensive nail in it. But
oh my God, that's art.
I don't relate to the nails part of these women, but I do definitely relate to the eating of chips. That part really
they're good.
Connected with me. I was yeah, I get it.
Oh my God, who ate the chips?
You ate them, didn't you?
Yes. No,
Tickle fight.
You did!
Where are the chips? You ate them, didn't you?
You did, didn't you?
We just met them, and then they have a tickle fight, and then they're just oh my God.
That smash cut to 6 weeks later, and she's just been living there.
never paying rent, never buying the groceries, right?
That they sleep in shifts, apparently. Like, yeah.
Always in bras and underwear while they sleep so they can, wake up in the bra. Ugh. Oh, boy.
There really is a lack of understanding of women as, like, people that I think underpins the failure of the majority of the movie.
The human women that exist in this.
Yeah.
The alien. The alien
They are
women.
definitely human women. Yeah.
Human women. It's all a different Westworld. It's Showgirls. It's Vegas world. And they're all, highly, maybe.
And Crystal's just the one who kind of, like, at least has fucked the man who invented her. Like, she's a little more advanced.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Okay.
Can we talk about Gina Gershon for a while?
Yes.
Oh, I love her.
I know, she's the one who's like, oh, I got this. Okay, we got it.
I understand.
Oh, I see what's happening.
No, a little less. I want my nipples to press, but I don't want them to look like they're levitating.
She has a lot to say in Joe Esterhaus's memoir called Hollywood Animal.
Mm-hmm.
And she just talked about having to teach Elizabeth Berkley some basic acting stuff, like at the table or at, like, just that you don't, like, Elizabeth Berkley came from one show where you looked at the camera.
Right.
Oh my God. And that she was like, it's a ballsy thing to cast an unknown. And if it works, it's like you have a new star. And if not, you have this. And
Right.
But apparently everybody knew right away that she'd been cast by Verhoeven's dick and did not have the skills. And it was going to be like, okay, we're all going to have to work a little harder
I
to
will
keep this
say
show
this,
afloat.
though. She went for it. I appreciate by the end, there's no, like, how she talks about how, like, being naked by the end, it didn't, like, you can tell she's not uncomfortable on screen. She went fully to 11, and I can appreciate that from her.
In all honesty, I think that's what makes it as campy as it achieves. It's that Faye Dunaway and Mommy Dearestism of it, where it's like she's taking it so seriously and putting in 180%, and if it weren't for that, then I don't think it would be as successful in being terrible.
It reminds me of Mila Jovovich in Fifth Element, how, like, everyone was like, it's just a sci-fi movie. You don't have to take it that serious. And she was in, like, a very serious drama. And for that one, it worked out. Like, the movie worked.
Right.
But, like, it reminds me of that similar vibe, the eagerness to get it right.
My opinion of that, her severity, has only recently started to go under a change, and a lot of it has to do with Me Too stuff. And it's like, oh, I bet Nomi would have a reason to scream at everyone and pull out a knife before anything. Like, it does not seem so cartoonish after you understand that, like, Annabella Sciorra had to deal with shit like this, and like people who were not hitchhiking strippers,
Right?
had terrible professional lives, and her extremity kind of seems almost prescient now, of like a woman who just is not gonna fucking take it. She'll stab your radio.
She's unhinged. She's, she's in Death Wish. Like, she's Charles Bronson in Death Wish, and she's on a mission. I do feel like I was always worried whenever they're moving, dancing specifically. I was always just concerned they were either gonna fall over or hurt themselves or hurt someone else. And that's all on purpose. But it's like a thriller. Every time they're dancing, you're really worried they're going to just topple themselves over.
So, thrust it.
Yeah.
Okay. The Patrick, I wish I knew his last name, the actor who plays Gay. Thrust it.
Yes.
Not Gay, the
Marty.
Marty, thank you. That Verhoeven, he was like, you really just want me to yell thrust it in her face?
I love choreography.
He was like, he wanted that cartoonish level, which is why the backtracking now is that it was supposed to be funny is bullshit. But that's one of the ones where an actor talked about, I tried to tell him that this did not feel right, but he didn't care.
Exactly. Bigger, more cartoony, louder. I said a PK turn. That's it. That's it. So.
Naomi, what kind of turn was that? Do a PK turn. That's it.
She is a quick study. That
No, Naomi, over here. You're not in the show yet. And also, like, the robot code of brown rice and vegetables.
Yep.
I feel like Joe Esterhaus dated one dancer who had classes and ate brown rice and vegetables, and all women who dance have classes.
Yes,
He's
that's
the one
it.
that brought up classes to the first place.
The show is called Goddess. It ain't called Classes. See ya.
I didn't hear this before. One of the classes she mentions is just stretch classes.
Stretch classes.
Is that a class?
Ballet classes, technique classes, stretch classes, jazz technique classes.
Speaking of choreography, I have a fun little random tidbit that I just found out. Have you seen the movie Palm Springs that just came out recently? Okay, it's really fun and cute and funny. There's a dance scene in it that I just found out was choreographed by the choreographer from Showgirls.
Wow.
That's so strange. I looked her up. I didn't notice that. But she did also choreograph Striptease, which is weird.
That is weird.
Because that was confusing at the
Same-
time. Of like,
same
which one
year.
is which?
Which one is worse? What's happening? They're both bad, but in different ways.
One has Burt Reynolds in it.
Burt Reynolds!
Okay.
Okay. Although the Striptease soundtrack, much better because there's a bunch of Annie Lennox tracks. But the Showgirls soundtrack is not, it's not good.
Oh, did she strip to Little Bird?
Yeah, I don't know if
Okay.
it's Little Bird, but it was a couple different songs from that album from Diva. They're great. Yeah.
Okay.
It's that. So it's worth it for that, almost.
I don't believe you.
There's kind of been like a resurgence of like Showgirls, stripper, whatever movies, right? So we had Magic Mike, which for me is kind of like, in many ways, the male Showgirls, in that he was taking it so seriously and was like, we're making a drama out of this guy that's a stripper, but he's also has,
And
artistic intentions.
Another director that's like, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
Sometimes he doesn't know.
I mean, obviously, Magic Mike had bigger commercial success than Showgirls. I didn't care for it, but whatever. So I do find though that there's a lot of parallels in terms of like intent and story. It's just with the male, stripper. But then also we have Hustlers, which for me kind of nails it.
To think about like why that worked, and for me, where my like heart got into it was like the morality behind it. It's like, we're robbing the robbers. They're like, oh fuck, and they could have gotten into that, like, just like having an actual idea.
Exactly.
God.
And I think having a female director definitely helped shape the story. Let's say that.
The one that felt the most kind of pandering, and then of course it had nothing to do with Showgirls, was Burlesque. That's the idea that like Showgirls is not Showgirls because it's a stripper movie. Like the next Showgirls is going to be about the race for a cure or something. It's not going to be another almost strip thing. It's going to be Yeah, it's about intent. It's not about subject matter.
Exactly.
That said, Burlesque is real bad, but not as just not as much fun because it doesn't shock you.
No,
the
it
only
doesn't.
shocking thing is Wagon Wheel Watusi.
Yes.
And
only
the
shocking moment.
the amount of time spent on air rights is
Oh my
baffling.
God.
I learned so much. I'm a lawyer in air rights now.
That's
From that movie.
that's the headline. You're like, what? So
You
much
guys,
talk of air rights. Yeah, you know what? Burlesque, full of terrible wigs. Showgirls, not so much. Sometimes bad wigs can really ruin a movie.
And some of Showgirls like parts are actually kind of progressive, where I don't think in any real world Annie would be Crystal's understudy.
No.
Right.
Because you would need different lighting, you would need this whole situation.
Yes,
It's like,
yes.
where he really and he wanted a person in a wheelchair coming through his movie. Like there's clearly, he's doing these things of like, Black people are real, there are people whose legs don't work, we live on Earth.
We live on Earth.
We live on Earth. These are real women. I swear. They are not
These are
robots.
human women.
Put on hat.
Put on hat. Yeah, that was so good.
Put on hat.
That was someone else's favorite, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, wait, was that the hospital scene? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, got it. Put on hat. I know! That's easy enough to do. She's been doing it since she was a little girl.
Nope.
Everything has to be weird.
I know. And then, God, that thing of how horny you get when you visit a friend in the hospital and you're like, I just need to tongue kiss you. I know you've been eating weird tray food.
Oh, man. And the amount of her lip liner that gets on to... I watched this at a friend's home theater, the Blu-ray copy. It was a mistake. It was up close. It was a horror movie. I mean, the amount, you can see the line where their lips end and where the lipstick continues, and it's just, they're monsters. It's insane.
Is that just an era-based tragedy? I wasn't really paying attention. Like, were they doing what was supposed to be done in 1995, or were they monsters even then?
I think it was just clown makeup.
Okay.
Bigger.
Bigger.
How do we make their eyes look bigger, their lips look bigger, exaggerate everything? It's Jade Mansfield, I don't know.
This movie has a lot. I want to know when they were like, what this movie really needs is some monkeys with diarrhea.
Oh, right.
The garlic-eating monkeys.
I know, we know that dancers eat brown rice and vegetables and monkeys eat garlic.
They just can't get enough.
Where's my garlic? Says the monkey.
Well, that felt vaudeville. That felt like a scene that got cut from Gypsy. And the strippers come on, and then later the monkeys come on and do a dog show act or whatever. It was
right.
The closest thing is that thing where when you show someone being nice to a dog, we learn to like them, and the monkey did like Nomi.
That's true.
Like she was like she got one. So it was a little hint that maybe Nomi has something likable about her.
I mean, everyone is drawn to Nomi. It's just she's magnetic and,
something about her.
I'm a pile of need, and I will never thank you.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But she will kick you.
The love theme that comes in right after she ran into traffic and vomited. Oh my God.
Now,
oh God.
Can we get in? What was the vomiting? She was so overwhelmed with how upset she was that she barfed. It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It truly does.
If they had shown her like eating a footlong or something, that would have made more sense while she was gambling.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have had the shrimp at the buffet. I don't know, but like...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll get you some fries to calm your stomach.
Different places!
I know.
When the ketchup that she throws down, the ketchup bottle she throws down, that then you can see a sprig of it fly up out of frame. Like, that's how aggressive she is. She knows how to... I don't know. There's so much.
Yeah, trying to imagine like how Jennifer Jason Leigh would have aggressively comported herself. Right. And is there a way it doesn't look like a Tasmanian devil? And I'm sure there is.
Well, there was that article, right, that just came out recently that Charlize was like in the running to be.
Shit.
That's right.
And I mean, I don't know what that would have looked like, but it would have been different.
It would have been different. I'm sure she would have been better.
She can talk with her eyes, and she's a real actor.
I mean, it wouldn't be what it is, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it would have been one of those movies that just disappeared because the script is still terrible. Like, when you think about it, like, I think you're right, David, that, like, there's something there underneath where it's like, well, of course she's pissed off, like, or quick to anger and whatever, because we learn later on, been prostituting herself and all through this horrible story that she supposedly has had. But the movie never lays it out where we know what's going on or why she's doing these things or why we should care. So then as a result, she just seems like this crazy woman for 3/4 of the movie. And then you're like, oh, I guess that's why?
Well, some of her actions are illegal and undeniably crazy. I mean, she pushes her down the stairs and then has her bad seed moment. I mean, that's bad.
And
that's not
grim.
justified.
She kind of, it's like she's looking over Whoville as well.
Her makeup gets more vampiric. Like,
yes.
She gets real pale. They start doing different foundation on her. Her eye makeup gets darker. It's very Nosferatu, She's sucking the life force out of all these people.
Now,
I'd be here for that, too, but that's not what this movie is.
And Sharon Stone, they wanted for Crystal.
Yes.
And she could have done it and been, if they were both blonde ladies, oh my God.
Oh my God.
We're exactly alike.
I'm blonde.
And I heard Madonna was in the running.
She might have been okay.
Well, no. I mean,
we should talk about that. After I did Showgirls Forever, I was like, do more movie essays, and I did a series called Almost Human: Madonna on Film.
Oh,
and it was about how she is the Meryl Streep of music videos, and the minute she has to use her own voice, she becomes your cousin.
Yeah.
who's just like, I'm in a movie, you guys.
It's so true.
It's terrible because
so
she's
true.
so Olympically gifted as a lip syncer. Like, she is the best. We got to watch Shanghai Surprise and all those glorious, she would have been terrible. And that would, Body of Evidence feels like it's kind of a piece with this, of just like the weird Pussy Murder trilogy of Basic Instinct and It's What I Do, that world.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh God, that movie. Yeah, I recently rewatched Evita, and it is, it's something. It's.
I've never seen it. The Hollywood Foreign Press thinks it's perfectly okay.
What?
They gave her a Golden Globe.
You have to watch it.
Okay.
It's pretty nerds. I mean, if once you get past the fact that she's playing, Ava, like the fact that they cast her in the first place, it's wild. It's a wild ride. Anyway.
I will say, after watching You Don't Know Me, I really now want to watch Cobra Woman. What was it called?
Yes.
They talk about this like real campy performance, and it just looks of this. I forget her name. Do you remember, Avaryl?
No, it was basically one of the interviewees was talking about how he wrote this whole article about how this was the greatest acting performance ever, and he was completely serious. And she's just theatrically going over the top about she's. And it was very Nomi, and that was the kind of connection.
And it's that mommy dearest Faye Dunawayism.
My professional life has let me have a conversation with John Waters, and his big thing is that Faye Dunaway would have won an Oscar if they had just cut a couple seconds of all of her freak out scenes. If they had had some freaky, tasteful editor, that she could have walked away with an Oscar, and instead we got the miracle of that.
I love that take on it.
He does a commentary track on Mommy Dearest all the way through, and basically all he does is defend the parenting. He's like, it was a different time. and was like, we all did that. It's so good. He's like on her side.
Oh, God.
And yeah, he gets away with murder. I love that. Okay. We all love him. Other name-droppy thing is the one cast member I've gotten to talk to is Kyle MacLachlan. Because I lived in Seattle for years, and he's from up there, and the Seattle International Film Festival honored him one year. So he came, and I talked to him I worked for a paper. I was a film editor, and I was not going to bring up Showgirls because it was 18 years later. It was a career retrospective thing. It was absolutely not the time to talk Showgirls, and he brought it up. He didn't even know. I don't think he knows that I had any relationships to the movie at all. But he was just like, we're talking about my career. He was like, it was so hard to hold on to her in the pool. It was the hardest thing I've ever done as an actor, holding on to that. And he said out loud, like, any stories trying to reframe this as a satire are bullshit, because I was there and we were making a psychodrama.
I love that so much. We haven't talked about Robert Davey and Henrietta. Those scenes are so bizarre. The saccharine sort of sentimentality of those scenes.
What do you think, she's gonna miss you?
Yeah, why not? We miss her.
She misses us like that lump on my twat I had taken off last week.
That was where I felt like, okay, I will follow you anywhere, I guess. Like, you could have had them, the next scene where Nomi pressed charges against them, but then no, instead they show up and they have a misty-eyed reunion.
You take care, kid. Must be weird not having anybody come on you.
Yeah.
It's wild, those scenes. I could not get a grasp on them. I guess I kind of understood what they were trying to do, but it just was so bizarre. It didn't work at all. Yeah,
Right.
this is where, she brought she's little orphan Annie. She brought herself from the streets up to, and they're I don't know.
It was just so confusing to me as to why they were there.
They found a way. They made it work because they love Nomi.
They love her. Everybody loves Nomi.
You're the only one that could get my tits popping right.
That tender moment.
God damn it. You're the only one who could get my tits popping right.
I've lived my whole life waiting for someone to say that to me.
That dress is also very vaudeville. There's a lot of vaudeville references.
Yes.
And it makes it just seem that much more dated.
And her
she's
delivery.
also very just drag queeny for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was vaudeville, cabaret meets like a drag queen show. And I was like, I'm here for it, but like, why?
And then she gets sexually harassed, and it's fine. And it's like, pull your dress up. And then her delivery of those lines is some of my favorite acting in that movie. It's just like,
oh yes.
Have you ever heard a person tell a joke? Like,
I tried to, because usually, like I said, I usually watch it with your commentary, and so I would get, little pieces of words, my twat, and that was it. But I didn't get the lead up to it. And so this time I was like, I'm really going to pay attention. I'm going to get this joke. Nope. They don't, you can't follow them. They don't make sense.
Do my tits look bigger to you?
Nomi, do my boobs look any bigger to you?
I'm naked, and I'm talking about being naked. Oh, girls.
I know that thing where you're not only have to be naked all the time, you have to refer to being naked. You're like,
yes.
Have you seen my naked boobs?
Well, and you only wear a bra when you're not wearing a shirt, because that's what sexy is.
The thing where they couldn't even make the art dance, they couldn't make the movie boring enough to let the art dance be an actual art dance, that it also had to be a stripper dance.
I mean, this whole plot line.
You got more talent than anyone I've ever seen.
You burn when you dance. That's the best.
Heard me. I put all those words in a row.
I have a problem with pussy.
Everybody's got AIDS and shit.
Dancing ain't faking.
Dancing ain't faking, right?
Have you seen the VH1?
Yes. So we found 7 edited minutes of assorted scenes of it, and it is. I watched it. We watched it last night. It was
the
something.
hover bras.
Yes.
For me, they kind of seem like they're leading them around, and it's this changes. It's this movie about a race of women controlled by their hover bras.
Yes. It's the Jetsons, but
and then dancing ain't faking is actually a better line, or at least less terrible line, because it is something about you gotta feel it, or there's some idea.
Yeah. You can't fake dancing.
And then lots of other ones just got cut, those weird, shocking filth lines at the end. They just get cut.
So I mean, I have to imagine that it's at least 45 minutes shorter than the regular theatrical version. I mean, the whole pool scene gone.
Oh, right. I mean, it has to be.
What would you do?
Yeah. How would you? You can't. So.
Oh my God! What was it? Well, that's worth stripping for.
If the neon palm trees didn't win her over, the spitting dolphins will.
When he pours all that champagne on her, and combined with the chlorine, I just thought, oh.
Hubba.
It seems so strange. It was what a waste of Cristal. But I mean, if this is holy water,
it's crystal.
Right.
The whole thing with with them saying Versace and him, Zach correcting her. And then later when he's like,
you like crystal?
I like a lot of different champagnes. But I always stick with champagne.
He doesn't correct that one. I don't know why.
Because it's a good movie, that's why.
Oh my God, it just reminded me of one of the funniest moments of MTV Cribs I've ever seen. Everyone talks about Cristal at the club.
And I found Cristal Light.
Well, I was at the grocery store and they had Cristal Light.
And it was so cheap too. Those guys are always saying they're paying $1,000 a bottle, and this stuff was $3 for a 6-pack.
Oh no!
We haven't talked about Penny or Hope.
AKA Hope.
Was he serious?
She and I were were chummy and had an email relationship for a while, because she actually made Showgirls 2.
Right.
Pennies from Heaven. Which a second of that movie makes you realize, oh, right, okay, Showgirls had a professional crew. You cannot replicate, seeing two people trying to replicate a shot from Showgirls. Showgirls has beautiful cinematography. I just learned that it's the same cinematographer who did the Goodfellas scene.
The oneer?
Yes, is the same one of the going into the club with Crystal. So it's steeped in prestige, which makes it so much worse.
So much worse.
Have you seen this? It was made by the people who made You Don't Know Me, and it was a supercut called Showgirls is a Christmas Movie.
No.
And it's just these incriminating zooms on the Christmas lights and poinsettias in the back and all of the scenes. You're like, Showgirls is a fucking Christmas movie. when she's walking out of the audition, there's Jingle Bells music. It's just having it all gathered was powerful. And another amazing bit of sideline Showgirls paraphernalia. It was a Facebook account for Human Resources Irene, is what she called herself. And it was the greatest thing in the world. Yes!
Deceased?
And she would send out a thing about, there's a rumor that a child died at Stardust. A child is never deceased at the Stardust. She mostly would send out stuff about like insurance programs for the dancers, and it was so brilliant. And then did you encounter it ever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That, and I think there's a Twitter handle of like the real Nomi Malone too, which is
yes,
okay,
and I think they interacted. I did look up because when she's giving all of her very real information to her, I figured maybe her birthday was real, maybe not the year, but the date. And so I looked it up, and there was other people that shared her birthday. That was interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Tom Cruise, same birthday as Nomi.
7/7.
Same chaotic energy.
Franz Kafka, same birthday as Nomi Malone. Audra McDonald, wild. And Julian Assange. Those were the headlines.
Okay.
I have a friend whose parents did Foley sound on Showgirls, like the stomping out of the courthouse.
Oh, they'd have so much work. All of the shoving and the...
He has a birthday party at 7/7 on 7/7 every year for Nomi. He's a huge Showgirls fan.
Back to Pennies from Heaven.
Yes.
I heard that it was filmed unofficially at the Hearst Mansion Castle. And that there was basically it was like a camcorder in a purse that like they were using to film it basically.
What?
So that might be why like the cinematography was, so I don't know, but that's what I've heard.
You'll have to see it someday.
Is it fun at all, or is it?
No, it kind of it makes you, it's that thing where you're like, no, why is it's another thing like, how is Showgirls so fun?
But now look, she fell. Okay, and it wasn't just me, but everyone saw her fall on her butt, right?
On paper, it shouldn't be that much fun.
No.
If you just read it cold, you'd go, oh boy, that's a morality tale, as Paul Verhoeven likes to
claim.
Although
I will say, like, in rewatching it again just this past time, there are a lot of scenes, like, at the end, it really does get heavy. I mean, it's not earned, but, like, so you're not, like, emotionally attached and, like, oh, God, this really made me, but you are, like, oh, God, like, obviously the rape scene and all of that, like, there's so much.
She can have a dress shop. It's fine.
Exactly.
She can just have a dress shop.
What about Molly?
You like her, I'll make sure he gives her enough money. She can have a dress shop.
Girls love dress shops.
Tell me
more than they hate rape.
But then also, after 3 months of freeloading, Nomi has a chance to do something for Molly, and she's like, Molly, here is a ratty old rabbit, and I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. Bye. Good luck recovering in the hospital. Bye.
You can have a dress shop.
She can have a dress shop. It's fine.
Well, there's nothing that rape victims like more than, bloody revenge and plush novelties. That's another one.
Oh, I'm glad that made it in. Good. Okay. That's in the real show.
Because if there's one thing rape victims love, it's bloody revenge and plush novelties.
Oh, yes. And because the revenge nails, but of course.
Oh, the revenge nails.
God.
Oh, yeah, because we were at the Cinespia screening that Elizabeth Berkley showed up to.
Oh.
We were there, and it was so fab.
I'm so glad you were there. Oh, my God. Tell me everything. I mean, I've heard that, like, she got in the spirit, and it was sweet, and yes.
It was really sweet, and the whole audience was, like, 1,000% on her side. It was very supportive, and I think that hopefully gave her a lot of closure that was needed. Because she did get she got the shortest end of the stick of all of this, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, she's most vulnerable, all of them,
Exactly. It's nice to then know that, like, she's been embraced as, like, yes, you are an icon for this campy, timeless performance.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys had to watch, did they show the rape scene at the cemetery?
Yeah,
yes.
It was.
It's long and it's terrible. I never show it. In the live show, I never show it.
I cut it out of my copy, like you suggest. But yeah, they just showed it at the cemetery, and it was uncomfortable.
I think at that point, I was very drunk, and I think I just was like, perfect bathroom break.
There are some camp people who think that you need the rape scene. Do you guys know the band Scissor Sisters?
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, Jake Shears of Scissor Sisters is very into, oh, you need to keep the rape scene, or I was like, you are wrong. You do not need to keep the rape scene.
No, it's so much. It's Michael Bolton hair. There's so many choices being made, and the fact that his bodyguards don't get beat up always bothers me.
Right, they were complicit. They were they were more than complicit. They were part of it, and they never get beat the shit out of, as if that was also
acceptable. Yeah, like
an acceptable justice, right? Oh yeah. Oh well, I beat the shit out of him, so everything's fine now, girl. You're still in the hospital. Like,
you've seen Basic Instinct, right?
Yes.
Okay, the script of that too is that same 13-year-old boy thing of like, I think someone had sex in this room. I think someone stuck his pee-pee in her. Like, it's just crazy 13-year-old campfire stories.
Well, and he wrote Flashdance too, right? Which is very...
have you seen that lately? The dance scenes in that? It's like high art dance for like blue-collar training.
Yeah, for who? She's a real dancer. You know, he has a real thing about that. I'm a dancer.
You're a fucking stripper. Don't you get it?
I'm a dancer.
First. Maybe he's trying to justify his love of stripteases, and he's like, they're dancers.
She's
it's okay.
a welder first.
It's an art form. Well, because so I watched that all the time as a child, which was probably inappropriate, but with my sisters, we watched it all the time. And I watched it back later and was like, oh my God, the age difference. She's like 20 maybe, and he is at least 40 something. And it like never even occurred to me as a child that was the case. And it changed the whole kind of dynamic for me. Because when you're a kid, everyone's old, you know, you're just like, oh, they're adults, they're old.
Totally.
So that was the big takeaway when I rewatched Flashdance.
That thing that everyone's old. You guys have seen the movie of Grease, right?
Of course.
Okay, see, I grew up with that, and I thought that by the time I was a senior in high school, I was going to look like Rizzo. I was like, what is going to happen to me between now and then that I'm going to show up at prom with gout? They're so lucky to have Stalker Channing. We're blessed to have her as Rizzo, but my God.
Well, yeah, I mean, the cast in general, I would say, of Grease is definitely, it's like, oh yeah, they're teenagers. They're only 43. What?
Yeah, I think Crater Face is probably the most egregious, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And Cha-Cha de Gregorio.
Oh.
55.
She's just a
She's
drag
the best dancer at St. Bernadette's.
And I have been since 1922.
She's been a senior for a while. I was rewatching Moonlighting. I don't know why. And Crater Face is in the pilot. That was just an interesting thing.
Was he a criminal?
There he is. Yes, he was. He was a punk rock criminal. I was really impressed this time watching the lap dance scene. It's insane. It's not sexy. It's madness. She has it timed to the music so absolutely succinctly perfectly to climax as they climb. I mean, it's a work of art, really.
I mean, he storyboarded it.
With the saxophone, it almost sounds like the record skipping. You know, and she's thrashing around perfectly. It was a wonder to behold. Let's say that.
A wonder to behold. I mean, I just always wonder, like, her thrashing. It seems so.
It must
much
feel
of just
good
like,
on the inside. That's what you
right.
said.
That's what
I guess it
you
feels
said
good on
in
the inside.
Oh my God. Cracking myself up.
So apparently that epileptic seizure sex feels good from the inside.
I mean, it's just mostly core work. Like, I don't think he would feel any of it. But
I guess it's supposed to be like her just like
abandoned, you know.
Yeah, she's just really feeling it and riding it. I don't know. I mean, she's like a full-on wave machine in that pool. It's like...
That house, the pool they fucking is real. That's not a set.
Right.
They could give tours of that pool.
God. I kind of want one of those neon palm trees.
I mean, honestly, though.
This might have made it into the thing, but I got an original shooting script of the movie. Right. And just like the jail scene, there was originally a lesbian that hit on Nomi, and Nomi raped her nails down her face, and there were like 5 individual scratches down the lesbian's face in the morning.
I miss it.
And they cut it right to when they just go, Malone, and she's called out of the jail cell.
Oh yeah, I read somewhere that Joe Esterhaus picked Malone because it sounded like alone because she was alone in the
Oh, there's no me.
I'm alone. Oh, I wish they'd left that scene in because I do like the idea that you talk about that her nails are an extension and they've sort of taken over in some way and have a mind of their own. I enjoy that.
That scene where she visits Crystal, and it's almost like that's the code phrase that opens Crystal's heart is, I like your nails.
Your friend has nice nails. She does them herself. Maybe she can do mine sometime.
For me, that was the first instance of a scene with like subtext that there is no subtext. You're just like, what? Oh, what's this code for? Oh, your friend has nice nails. Ooh, I like your nails. Ooh, let's talk about nails. But then it's just like not really. They're just basically talking about nails.
Yeah. No, it's like Joe Esterhaus going like, what did that fucking annoying bitch always say? What was she always talking about? Her nails?
Oh, getting her nails done.
Like,
oh, right.
What do girls say?
What do I imagine girls talk about when I'm not around? Being naked, their nails.
Chips.
Do you know what Joe Esterhaus's wife's name is?
Naomi, right? His nickname for her was Nomi.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going after. So
that
very
is like,
flattering.
That is damning. Oh, yeah, flattering. Yeah, flattering.
Yeah, flattering. That's it.
Were you guys Saved by the Bell kids?
I was.
Avaryl, I'm sure was.
Okay, and they did a kind of TV movie after the wrap up, and it was like a beach wedding for
in
Zach.
Vegas.
Right, and Nomi or Elizabeth Berkley runs in at the end, and she's very styled as Nomi. It was clearly like at the same time, and it's like she's wearing a Nomi costume almost.
I don't remember that dress specifically, but I do remember loving that movie.
What you were saying earlier about like the harsh facts of her prostitution life, and the thing of like the towns he named her arrest came from were tiny towns. And did you guys see Monster?
Yeah.
Okay, there is nothing scarier in the world to me than being a rural hooker where you're just waiting for headlights to hit you. You're just like standing in the woods by the side of the road waiting for a truck's lights to hit you, and then you go.
Hey.
So like those people deserve Purple Hearts, and so like that idea of like how hard Nomi's life is, but they deal with it so cartoonishly.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was some interview with Verhoeven talking about, I wanted her to play it that big and that broad and that angry because I knew that like it was going to be revealed that she had all these drug problems and all of this past, and he thought it would, like even out in the end, and people would go, oh, that's why. And I was like, oh my God, your understanding of the complexities. Oh no.
Didn't work. I do love that we see Nomi eat burgers so many times in this movie.
Eat them like a ravenous animal.
That thing where she litters.
Just gleefully litters.
But
she's so happy as she does it.
Soon after, when she's like, check, she litters again.
Oh boy, that was...
I love that. That's hilarious. I got towels. That's such a... I love... Does that line work on ladies? I got towels?
Oh, what was it? I've got a problem with pussy.
Oh, right. Oh my God.
Right.
That was the funny thing in the VH1 edit. I forget what they changed it to.
I have a problem with women.
Also, the ambition of changing Showgirls to be TV safe to me, why bother? Like, what are we doing?
How much money? I mean, not that much, but how much money did they put into those digital bras that it was worth it? I mean, I'm glad it exists, but...
I bet it's one of those things that gets a lot of viewers whenever it's on because of even the hover bras are pretty salacious.
Yeah.
And it is like, after I did Showgirls, they were like, what other movies are like it? I was like, what are? And the closest I could get was Roadhouse, which is Showgirls for boys.
It's Showgirls for boys?
It has knives instead of nails.
It's a lot. It's a lot of things. The throat ripping. Oh my God. You haven't seen Roadhouse, have you, Andrew?
No.
You got to see it sometime because it is the closest to like, wow, as far as like getting a whole party terrible vibe going.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, Patrick Swayze's pretty campy, so
sometimes
that works and sometimes it doesn't.
Judo poet.
Well, so speaking of camp, I'm curious to hear what you would say are some of your like campiest movies of all time, obviously aside from Showgirls.
Boom. It's this Elizabeth Taylor movie, and it's Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, and it's
Oh, yes.
and they're
I
just
forgot
kind of
about that
in
movie.
this seaside mansion, wandering around in turbans and saying things to each other.
Lord knows I could use some male companionship.
Have you seen the Sandpiper? He's married and works at a school, and she's a bohemian, and it's all shot in Big Sur, and it's all very like, we can't be together, we must be together. The Sandpiper, it's all so much.
Okay.
I never knew a man could be so strong, yet so tender. I love him.
But there was that era of movies that they kept making together that were just so elaborately costumed and dramaed, and
no one could tell them no. They would be like, we want to film it, we want to do a movie together in this country.
Yep.
They're like, okay, we'll write one.
We want a vacation. We want a vacation here.
Yeah.
Right.
Make that happen.
A camp movie I just remembered that I love, and it knocked me out recently. It's from the 50s. It's called The Naked Kiss, and it's directed by Samuel Fuller. And it's about
Samuel Fuller.
Yeah, a prostitute who becomes a nurse at a children's hospital and cures them all with her glorious hooker love, and is unmasked as a hooker, and might have to kill some people. I don't know, but it's like the type of thing where you're like gaping by the end of the credits. You're like, oh, we're in for a thrill ride. But he knows what he's doing. It's not.
Sam Fuller does.
Yeah, it's not an accident.
Like, you'll be watching one of his movies and you just know. That's kind of how I feel about camp. Particularly when you watch it as a kid, you kind of just go, I don't know why, but I'm very drawn to this. There's some, like, I remember accidentally watching Mommy Dearest on TNT and just being like, I don't know, but I can't stop. What?
I get the sense that the movie Clue is very important as a camp trainer to an entire generation.
Yes, very much so.
We did a review of Clue with the drag queen Katya, and it was very fun. And I would definitely put Clue in the... Oh, she's great. She's so much fun. I would put it in the camp classic, because so part of what we wanted to do with summer camp was to kind of look at the different types of camp. There's so many, there's unintentional camp, there's intentional camp, there's bro camp, right, where you have something like Top Gun or True Lies. So we wanted to kind of touch on a different example of each. And obviously Showgirls, I think, includes multiple different types of camp.
Well, Gina Gershon is in the intentional half, and the rest of the movie is in... We didn't know, but we got there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What else has made summer camp? Like, does Death Becomes Her count?
We've already done that, but yes. We did Batman and Robin, because anything Joel Schumacher touches. We did this Prince movie called Under the Cherry Moon. Have you seen that?
Of course I have. I'm a
thank
tremendous Prince fan, but that thing we were like, that kind of has some sexual vibe to Showgirls. We're like, if you say so, dude, if you say that this is a come on and I should not call the police because you're doing that with your face at me, you're like, and they cut to the person who acts flattered, like, oh, we're supposed to act flattered.
Oh, right.
Yes. No, that's a special movie.
I love that movie.
And we get to meet Kristen Scott Thomas.
For the first time. In all her glory. And then we did another movie that you may or may not have heard of called Love's Labor is Lost. Kenneth Branagh is like a particular kind of camp. For me, he's just the hubris of Kenneth Branagh. And so he did one, it's a lesser known Shakespeare play that he turned into a 1930s musical. And
a 1930s jukebox musical
of Astaire Rogers. Oh,
wow.
It is something.
Yeah. The movies that made it was called From Bad to Worse, the quest from cinematic terribleness, and it was Battlefield Earth, Leonard Part 6, this Bill Cosby movie.
Yeah.
These were mostly just like the terriblest movies in the world.
Right, because you don't want to watch those. They're like horrible to watch.
Can't Stop the Music is actually fun.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And Rhinestone, the Dolly Parton,
Sylvester
Stallone.
Oh, yes.
It's been a fun thing to kind of go and collect a list. And obviously the list is always growing. And
yes.
It's funny, you were talking about Kenneth Branagh has like this kind of innate campness. And I think there's certain people, I think Lady Gaga has it. And I think obviously Celine Dion, like pretty much everything that she does.
Hers is unintentional though.
But do you think Lady Gaga is also unintentional?
No, I think Gaga is intentional camp.
Oh, I don't know. Like this whole nonsense and like all of that, I don't think that was intentionally campy.
I think that's Bradley Cooper and he is unintentionally campy.
Okay.
It's all opinion based. Everybody can have their own.
That's true.
Know.
That's true.
Have you seen the Frank Henenlotter movies? Like Basket Case and Brain Damage and Frankenhooker?
I'm not a gore person.
It's gory it's pretty gory. I think you might appreciate Frankenhooker though. It's something, all right. So maybe put that on your list.
Did Fateful Findings reach your world?
Oh, yes.
Okay. That to me is incredible, especially the last 20 minutes. Okay. Oh, this is my secret camp. It's called Santa Fe. It stars Lolita Davidovich and Gary Cole.
I'm very excited.
It was purchased in a drugstore rack.
Yeah.
Is it Faye like the woman's name, I'm assuming?
Santa, no, it's not. It's just the place.
Okay.
But rotating, crazy rotating tones of the sort of Showgirls was like, fuck. But we did at Seattle International Film Festival, they hosted Fateful Findings for it's like Midnight Madness, and the director has to kind of be on board for light camp framing. And I showed them Santa Fe and they're like, we'll reach out. And the guy was like, you cannot show that in any campy form. He's like, it's still his auteur's heart. I know.
But Neil Breen was okay with it. But Neil
Breen just wanted people to see his movie.
As long as he's selling DVDs from his personal website, he's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, but this other guy was more of like an artist and a writer, and he was like, no, you can't. It's gonna.
Well, now I want to watch it.
You should. It's good. It really you'll want to talk to me afterwards, or just check in and be like, I watched Santa Fe. I'm like, okay.
You're like, I need you to know. I just need you to know that I've seen it now, and it's okay. I'm excited. I'm gonna find it.
It's a good one.
Have you seen Sleepaway Camp?
Nope.
Oh, because you don't like horror.
It's just like chopping mall situations.
No, chopping mall is. I do enjoy chopping mall. I can't deny, but that's a different genre.
Okay.
Sleepaway Camp is. It's. You have to watch it. It's truly insane. Truly insane.
Writing it down.
Andrew doesn't like horror either, and he made it through. It's fine.
Okay. Oh yeah, because it's crazy and. There's a lot to unpack. It's but don't read or watch anything. Just watch it.
Yeah. And talk about subtext that's not there. Oh boy, I just read my notes. Wait till you see me bottomless.
Oh my God! Speaking of COVID, I've been bottomless for months now.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, we could talk about the very end. I mean, it is, the mirror images, starts with the hitchhiking, ends with the hitchhiking,
Same driver.
The same driver. I want my fucking suitcase. That thing's been sold and gone for months. Now I have a real question. How much time elapses, do you think, from beginning to end?
I mean, enough time for them to build a goddamn billboard. So
and Christmas season, she shows up probably in late September and leaves in March.
No, I think it has to be later than September because she leaves Salt Lake City at the beginning and there's snow on the ground.
Okay.
Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's get to the bottom of it.
And her hitchhiking is also dumb. Just I've read about this. It's like a Martian read the dictionary definition of hitchhiking.
Well, who knows where she went? I mean, obviously to LA, I guess, and now she...
Well, the sequel that never got made, that was Nomi Goes to Hollywood, right?
Right. To become a real dancer. A Hollywood dancer.
Like Burlesque. Oh my God.
Wagon Wheel Watusi.
Summoning the wagon wheel. Well, thanks, freaks.
Well, thank you. This has been fabulous.
Thanks so much for joining us. This was so great.
My pleasure. Thanks for
And
drinking
I'm gonna
with
go
me
watch-
in the daytime.
Oh, yes. I'm going to go watch
Yes.
Santa Fe. I'm very excited.
I'll
yeah.
learn some Sleepaway Camp and we'll check
Oh.
in. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Cheers.
Brilliant.